Greetings, weary traveler, come, warm yourself by the fire, and let us regale you with mighty tales, tales of adventure, tales of heroism, tales of Tamriel. I am your host, Arkhaniir, and as you can see, we don't have cameras this week, because I just woke up, and I thought, you know, this is going to be possibly, if you don't derail into oblivion, a shorter episode, so we wanted to relax and present a nice show. I'm joined by, I think, unless he's going to turn off his smoke detector, Lotus himself.
Fantastic, I made it back in time.
Oh, there we go. How's it going, Lotus?
I'm tearing this thing apart right now, but I'm doing well.
Okay, well, alright, that's a different start to the show, but acceptable, I suppose.
Really, we had the pre-show for a half an hour to get things settled, and the second we mute so that we can play music, my smoke detector starts telling me that it's dying.
Well, I mean, if we had a proper intro, this wouldn't have been a good show. So thank you for doing that.
I do my best.
Oh, well. And we are also joined by Promethean. How are you doing?
I'm doing alright. So, ironically, I actually almost set off my smoke detector yesterday.
What are you...
Well, I was cooking food and I had accidentally let stuff drip to the bottom of the oven and then preheated the oven and it started burning. And so, I almost set off my smoke detector. So, I'm glad yours is working because I don't know if mine is. Honestly.
Well, it's a good idea to check that.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever had a smoke detector thing, so I'm not sure how they work actually. But what do they do when it goes off? What do they do? Does it just warn you, or I don't know, call the fire department on its own?
So the smoke will trigger it, and it makes like this ear-piercing sound that you can't sleep through. It's really horrible. The only time that it's an issue, though, like, well, unless your house is on fire, I guess, but like in my situation, when the battery's dying, it starts making this like kind of dying chirp sound.
Right.
And I was going to try to just ignore it, but the ones we have here, they beep and then says battery low every single time. And I'm like, nope, that's not gonna go well. So yeah, that was that would have been
difficult to edit out.
Yeah, so I was like, all right, we're gonna just try to do this real fast.
I don't know what would happen with mine because I'm in an apartment building, so I don't know if it would trigger all of them or just mine, or I don't know. So that's not something I want to test, but
yeah.
Who knows?
Yes, actually, that'd be pretty good if they made that Nernroot sound, Ishibu.
Then I would trigger it all the time.
Real quick, and then you just start searching the garden.
I love the Nernroot sound. Like if I could get a plant in real life that actually glowed and made that sound non-stop.
At you.
Yeah, I would put it in my room. I love it.
I would go insane.
No, it's like a meditational sound. If you know what I mean.
I forget where it was brought up. Do you think the more of them you have jammed in one place, the louder they get? So, like,
yes.
If you were just walking around with all of your alchemical ingredients, you're just deafening towns because you have like 1,000 of them.
I think so.
But do they still make that sound when you pluck them? That's the question.
No, they do. Well, I don't know.
Oh, that's a good point. They just instantly die.
They do stop. So, like, but I'm wondering if they stop because, like, they can't just have you walking around humming through games, or if they just actually stop.
Yeah, I never thought of that. How did we get here?
Yeah, well, hey, see, just what you said. Maybe we can do an hour-long podcast and not derail. Immediately derail. We were derailed before I even got on mic because of that stupid smoke detector.
I'm gonna change the name of the show. Tales of Derailing is what's gonna be from now on.
Yep, the new Derail set coming out at the end of the year.
Did anybody get the derail counter going yet?
Actually. You know, I'll make that into a comment, yeah. I'll make that into a comment. Every time we start talking about something not Tamrielic, or, you know, podcast related. We are just gonna put a exclamation mark derail and see how much we did.
Yeah.
Before we start the show, I'm not counting this as the show, by the way. This is just an extra segment. We gotta give a shout out to our Patreon and Twitch supporters. Thank you all so very much. Although again, I don't have the names because Aggelos is not here and he has access to those lists. But thank you all so very much for your support. When that allows, you know, Aggelos to basically fund the infrastructure of the show, RSS feeds, servers, all the things like that, hosting costs. So thank you all so very much. Also chat room, thank you all for being here. We actually have a very active chat room today, and that makes me happy. Although I see that Isha made us derail into Nerdroot stuff, and
yeah, she
that's not surprising.
Nonetheless, that's fine. And I second the possible name change of Derails of Tamriel.
Derails, I like that.
That's pretty good. I like that.
Actually, that could be. You know, I've been recording our pre-shows and post-shows, and that could be what those are called. Derails of Tamriel as the behind the scenes.
Yeah.
My buddy Bat swings in and immediately gives us a new title.
No.
Perfect.
No, Guarut, no casual ranger.
Guarut.
Nope. I mean, obviously we don't have cameras, so I can't show you my facial expression of utter disappointment.
Yes. Disappointment.
Do guars actually make noise? Like, I'm genuinely curious. Like, I don't actually know. Do they make noises?
It's kind of that honking bark sound.
I always assume they do some, I don't know, weird, like, stuck between hissing and a roar, kinda. I don't know.
Next time we group up, when you do that like speed up thing to sprint, and I smack the back of the guar, it does this like air escaping honk sound, and I just assume that's how they communicate as well.
The hissing roar and the honking bark, actually, those have to be perfect descriptions of a sound. Oh my god.
Okay, so James says it's a little roar, but since it's little, apparently.
Yeah,
like
I have no idea.
Yeah,
I avoid guars religiously, so I don't get to hear them too
I don't know
much.
about that. By the way, I'm not sure if you've checked Twitter, but they were asking for best character names. You're famous, Ark, with lots of pictures of guar next to you.
What happened again?
It was Guar saves insurance or something to that effect in relation to Geico, or it was like a pun on Geico. I'll find it really quick. Don't worry.
Oh, okay. So I see this. Benevolent actually got retweeted by Elder Scrolls Online and share your favorite character names with us. And of course, Lotus, you had to do this.
That is my masterwork. I will have you know.
I just want to put like, oh, I can't believe you've done this.
Speaking of which, there's Benevolent right now.
Hello, hello, welcome. We actually have Casual Ranger as well. Casual Ranger and Benevolent both. They are both very, very amazing members of the ESO fam. So you people should definitely go check them out. That said, shall we start with the news?
Yeah, I suppose we should actually get into a podcast part of the show.
All right, so first of all, we actually have little Elder Scrolls Online related news, but we do have some overall Elder Scrolls related news from Skyrim and Elder Scrolls Blades. Now, they released for Elder Scrolls Blades a frequently asked questions, which involves information on closed beta, early access, and things like that. So this is a short list, which I'm going to start reading through, actually, and then the rest of the news, Promethean and Lotus will handle. So, what is the Elder Scrolls Blades? The Elder Scrolls Blades is a classic dungeon crawler reimagined. Create and customize your character, accept quests from your townspeople, rebuild your city, and unravel clues to an ancient mystery, or venture into the abyss to see how far you can go in an endless dungeon. I mean, they make it sound very detailed, and that excites me. But at the same time, I'm curious whether if my phone, like how much my phone will be able to handle this.
Well,
there's a list of devices as well.
It starts on phones, but it's coming elsewhere afterwards because it's all crossplay eventually and stuff like that.
Oh, well, yeah, you're correct. I forgot about that.
Yeah, because I don't think my phone... I mean, I have an iPhone 8 or whatever. I'm sure it will be like, oh, yeah, you have 42 seconds worth of gameplay before the battery is dead and your phone is 9,000 degrees. So I assume I'll be needing to do what little I can, most likely have to wait and play it when it comes to either console or I'll play it on my PC or something like that.
Yeah, battery issues make sense. Or live plugged into a power bank.
Oh yeah, that's true. Just constantly have it plugged in.
Yep. Yeah. Or data too. I would assume this is probably going to be a data muncher.
I mean, I think most of this stuff will pre-download on your phone though. Like 3 gigabytes of download. And it won't be sucking up your data constantly. Unless you are playing multiplayer combat, I suppose. But
which is the least interesting part of it to me.
Yeah. I could care less about that.
I actually want to challenge Aggelos, like, during the day, all the time. Just randomly keep challenging him.
That'll be good.
Yeah, I suppose we'll see. What is the story of the Elder Scrolls Blades? The Blades... The Empire's top agents are forced into exile. On the run, you return to your hometown to find it destroyed. That is so original.
I was just... so basically every other Elder Scrolls game ever. Because when are the Blades not in exile?
Yeah, that's true. Or just outright dead.
Yeah, also.
So, important one. Is the closed beta the same as early access? The closed beta is not the same as early access. The early access is still happening. You can find more information in the early access section below. Is the closed beta under NDA? Yes, it will be under NDA. That means even if we get it, we won't be able to talk about it on the podcast. Unfortunately, I was looking forward to that. If you are chosen to participate in the closed beta, you may not post screenshots or videos, stream any part of the game, or discuss the game online or otherwise. See, we can't even discuss it behind the scenes, guys. The All-Father Bethesda is watching.
Well, I was gonna say that, like, as much as I enjoy the things Bethesda makes, and generally still like a lot of the things Bethesda does, don't screw with Bethesda's legal team. They apparently have too much free time on hands, so don't do that. Like, actually pay attention to the NDA if you're gonna do this. Like, that is actually like a legally binding thing that you're signing into, or just wait. Like, either of those options is fine.
What platforms can I play the closed beta on? The closed beta will be iOS only. Early access will be iOS and Android. And we are excited to open early access for Android players and everyone not selected to participate in the closed beta this spring. So it's only like a couple months from now.
Yeah, but that's such a delay. I was just, wow.
Wait, I mean, when was this supposed to...
It was supposed to release Q4 of 2018.
Well, to be honest, better delay than another Fallout 76.
I also agree, because I am really looking forward to this, because it can waste my time in classes that I don't pay attention to anyways.
See, amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, finish the game, take as much time as you need. Developers out there, please.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the developers, it's whoever is making them release early.
Right, yeah.
Early on, so...
That's true.
Will the closed beta be the full game? It will be the full game. Participants will be able to play as much of the game as they like. When is the early access? Is targeted for spring. Will I get to play early access as soon as it's available? We will grant people early access on a rolling basis. Keep an eye on for email invite. Okay, so it's gonna be in waves. Will early access be available on iOS, Android? Yes. Will early access be the full game? Yes. So many of these questions. Who are asking these back to back?
It rearranged the words and asked the exact same thing 100 times.
Will early access be under NDA? It won't be, so it's a different answer now. So we'll be able to discuss early access. Will early access progress and purchases carry over? All progress and purchases made during early access will carry over into the final game. Can I still sign up for early access? Yes, at playblades.com. What devices will early access support? Okay, so there's a list here. iPhone 6s or newer, iPad Pro, Samsung S8 or newer. See, I have Samsung S7, so rip. Galaxy.
You can't get the. I have an 8, but we can't even get the closed beta.
Yep.
Yeah. Galaxy Note 8 and newer, Google Pixel 2, 2X large, 3, 3X large, OnePlus 5. The list goes on. But yeah, you basically take a reference from iPhone 6s or Samsung S8 and go from there. Because I don't know most of these phones here, Xiaomi. Oh, there's Razer phone, obviously. It would be surprising if it wasn't. Razer. I wonder how that did do. The Razer gaming phone. I wonder if they reached the...
the only Razer I know is those like old flip
phones. Yeah.
No, they made actually a very slick looking gaming phone, which goes up to, if I remember correctly, 120 frames per second screen for whatever reason.
Wow.
With a 4
That's crazy.
Yeah. And it has, my main thing about it is, if I remember correctly, it has 4 to 5K battery.
What?
I don't remember the
The real question, can it send a text, or is that out of its range?
It's so good at gaming that the texting function is completely broken.
I don't know. I mean, my main argument about buying it was, buy it for the battery and never game on it, so it lasts for a few days.
It's a permanently lasting phone.
Yeah. Okay, let's not talk about the phones. My bad.
Fair enough.
Yeah, we are gonna continue with the news. So, Skyrim Together news with a sad face on it, which I do not know why, because I don't know these news. But
yeah, so all right. So this is not going to be super in depth. You can look up, the fine details on all of this online. There's more unfolding as more information comes out on the topic. I haven't played too much of it, like anything like that, but I have kind of followed it because it seems like a very cool mod, and it was getting a lot of traction. People were very excited about it. Few of the issues that have sprung up is it recently had its closed beta, which then was taken down because it was encountering some pretty severe issues, was what I was seeing. Again, it's a beta, so I mean, I guess it is what it is, and this is a beta of a mod more so. Yeah. And if Fallout 76 taught us anything, it is hard to turn these games into a multiplayer game when they are not designed to be a multiplayer game. So I like get it to an extent. And, I don't program, so I can't imagine how hard that would be. But I did hear that wasn't going too well. And then the reason that I have the sad face in the notes is it may be becoming a legal reason that this might unfortunately meet its demise if things don't get balanced out, because the group that is making the mod did not remove all of the Skyrim script extender parts that they were using from the mod. And I guess the group who made Skyrim script extender, I don't actually have the names of these groups handy. Again, you can just look up the group that made Skyrim script extender, as well as the current group of people modding for Skyrim Together. They seem to have kind of an at-odds relationship because of previous situations of people taking code that wasn't their code and then putting it into their mod, which is kind of a mod faux pas from what I've been told. I'm not a modder, but yeah, that's supposedly a kind of a no-no. You don't do that unless you directly credit the people. And I guess there was some issues with not crediting people properly and stuff like that. And then the final bit that could become even more so of a legal problem than even that, which has its own issues, is the fact that their Patreon has made a lot of money for this closed beta. And they're not... How can I word this? So they're not charging for the mod, because that's kind of that's like a no-no if you look at the rules, like it in the ability to mod the game. You can't really charge it outside of Bethesda allowing it through their creation club or whatnot. Like they can give you permissions, but you can't just take Bethesda's work, change it using their code, and be like, okay, now I'm going to sell this. Like, that's not really how that works. Well, they're making a lot of money with this mod because it's so popular. However, they can't really do that because they're technically selling the mod, but their way of bypassing that, from my understanding, is you're donating to help them provide a closed beta, and once the mod is done, then it's free. So they're kind of ice skating along what's legal and not legal, from my understanding.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Aren't all modes the same? I mean, if you go into Nexus modes, no one is selling their mod. Everyone has a Patreon or a PayPal that you can donate to. They were donation-based, and up until now, that was fine. Bethesda did nothing.
So, and that's what I think the thing is, though. To run the closed beta, you're basically paying to play it currently, even though they'll remove it later. And that's my understanding of why it's kind of illegal. Like, okay, is Bethesda going to get involved with this? Because right now the mod is actually not free, because there is no way to play it in early access. Like, you can't play this mod right now unless you give them money. They will remove that later, so it's intended to not be a paid mod later. But currently, in its broken state, it is a paid mod, as weird as that sounds. So basically, you're paying to play it before it's done.
Yeah, this is end up going to be resolved by just, like, someone will look at the exact definition of paying for something.
Right.
And it will either go through on a technicality or fall through on a technicality.
On a technicality, I agree with you completely.
Yeah. Yep. Because you are technically still not paying for the game, you are supporting the developers, and they are giving you access as a thank you.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So like, that's the information that I got. I mean, like I said, it's still kind of unfolding. I'm sure there'll be more information on it, but I figured it was worth a note because I know a lot of people are very excited about this, and it looked really promising. So it's a shame that this seems like it has the potential to kind of just fall apart, or, you know, hopefully doesn't.
Nope, you got cut off there for a bit.
Yeah, sorry, my screensaver popped up in the middle of the screen. Sorry about that. Yeah, so, it is a popular mod, hence it's generating so much, which you get larger amounts of money, you're going to draw more attention as well. So I think that's kind of why this might be getting more attention than somebody who made $10 on a mod when you're making like 30,000 or whatever. Okay, that's a lot more money.
That much?
Changing, yes.
Yeah.
That's what I've heard.
Boy,
from what I've been seeing is their Patreon is getting like crazy numbers.
That's what the article said that I was looking at.
Yeah.
But see, I thought they were using, like, I was under the assumption that money was being used to maybe like help them make the mod. I honestly don't know what that entails.
It very well could be. Like, that's the thing. There's so many unknowns with it. It's very hard to tell. Like, because I kind of don't get I mean, again, I don't know these people or whatever, but from this being so ambitious, it struck me more that this is more of a, a passion project. Okay, that's fine if you want to make money off it, but it didn't strike me as like, aha, let's get all their money and run. Like, that wasn't the vibe I was getting from this thing's creation along the way.
Yeah, or even the article that I was reading, like didn't seem like they intended to steal the script. Like after they couldn't make contact with them, they're like, "Oh, we removed it, but maybe some stuff got left in, and we're really sorry about that." But they still weren't accepting that apology, and I was like, I don't know,
right? So
very weird.
Yes, I agree, and supposedly that's from a previous situation. Right. So it's like, again, though, like they did seem like they were at least trying to rectify that situation as well.
I mean, I hope it all gets
something good and actually comes together in the end, because it's definitely a really promising concept.
Oh yeah,
I hope they figure it all out and Bethesda doesn't swoop in with banhammers and lawsuits.
Right.
Come on, Bethesda, just this once.
Let it play out.
Let it play out. Stay out of the way.
Let it see how it goes.
Yeah. Let us have our multiplayer mod. Don't kill it. You know, you're a multi-billion corporation. You don't need $30,000 from some Patreon.
Plus, to be fair, it'll probably cause you to sell even more copies of Skyrim because
that too.
Few people left on the planet who don't own the game.
Right.
So, come on.
And actually, this I added into the very bottom of the notes, and just because we're in the legal thing, I figured this is quick. It was kind of brought up in chat, and I actually forgot to put it in the notes originally. I can't even remember if I was on the show when this originally got brought up. For anybody, have you guys heard of Redfall?
Is that?
I can't remember.
So Bethesda copyrighted. No, Bethesda took out the copyright on the title Redfall.
Yes.
And there was a lot of speculation that, oh boy, that's got to be the next Elder Scrolls game.
Right.
Like they've got the name.
Yep. That's right.
Which again, if it's going to be in the Redguard region, is it the Fall of the Redguards? Is it
Hammerfell?
The Hammerfell region with the Redguard? Like, Okay, so that's the quick background on it. So Bethesda's getting sued for not doing due diligence in researching a trademark on a property that already exists, apparently. Redfall is a science fiction novel that was written and published. And and the guy is like, this is mine, and what are you doing?
All right, so hold on.
He is suing them. Again, that's, by my understanding, I think it is actually going to court. But this is another situation that's kind of unfolding. From some of the articles I read, which I would suggest, if you're interested in this topic, look it up for yourself. There's plenty of information on it, and I don't want to get anything incorrect. But I actually believe the guy reached out to Bethesda and was willing to make some type of agreement. And there just wasn't much communication. And I think his response related to like, okay, well, then I'm calling dibs on this if we're not going to find an agreement because it was mine first.
Okay. Yeah. So I just want to say that Bethesda kind of definitely screwed up, because I Googled it and it took me all I had to do was hit like the next button and I see the book.
Yes.
Like on page 2.
I know. I've done that too.
On a Google search.
So... And I actually, as a result of that, I looked up what the deal is with like copywriting something that's also like copyrighted.
Right.
And apparently you can do so if it is like abstract enough that you need to go searching for the thing. Mm-hmm. This is not abstract. You can literally Promethean.
Yeah. I mean, there is also, but here's the thing: boom. If they are in different industries or whatever, like if one Redfall is say like, a restaurant and your Redfall is a game, you should be able to do it. However, between a science fiction book and a video game, I'm not sure where the line is.
Yeah, because that's starting to get close, especially when you've got things like, oh, there's some Elder Scrolls novels and stuff. It's like, well, what if we write a book about this? Then how close are we? You know what again, this is one of those situations I'll be very curious to see.
Also, here's the thing. I don't think Bethesda would not realize there's a book called Redfall before copywriting it, but more like, I really want to use this name. I'm going to take my chances.
We're just going to take
court.
it.
Also, yeah, this could be.
I mean,
yes.
Think about it.
Because I think the book, from what I'm understanding, the book's popularity is spiking as a result of every.
Wow.
What I was reading is the guy's like, look, I'm not even from. This is like just some of the stuff I had read. Was that the guy doesn't seem super hostile about it? It was like, oh, okay, this is great. Like I'm getting a bunch of notoriety for this. But at the same time, he this is his work too. So I think he'd like some acknowledgement and not just get buried by this mega game that will probably just take over the gaming world when it launches.
I mean, here's the thing: the lawsuit could just be a means to that end. Actually, I mean, if he does nothing,
very true.
If the author does nothing, he will just be completely ignored. And from this point on, whenever someone types Redfall, it will just be The Elder Scrolls Redfall or whatever. But if he goes through with this lawsuit, and even if he just drops it halfway or doesn't win it, there will be news, things like that, discussions, so that's publicity. So, I guess, I mean, what is up with Bethesda and lawsuits anyway? They're like magnets.
Whether it's them being sued or them, I feel like that, as Casual Ranger put in chat earlier, Bethesda legal team OP. Like
they're like working 8 days a week.
But according to the author of the book, they're not, because they couldn't return his phone calls.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, okay, so that is noted. That was one of the, I was concerned, trying to remember if I had that correct. Was that, he literally just couldn't get them to have any type of response.
So I pulled up the articles on it to see, like, because before this, they would have announced this, or it would have been found out that they copyrighted it. I would have assumed it would be easy to find the book, which hence going to page 2, I would assume it would have been. But it says that his lawyers reached out and they just wouldn't answer.
Yes, that's okay. Then I did have that correct.
Oh man.
Yeah. So
I guess they are not working.
One of those things. Unfortunately, we'll have to wait and see how it plays out.
Yep.
Hopefully, both parties involved get something less horrible out of this. It actually ends somewhat amicably.
Yeah, we'll see.
Also, shout out to Elder Scrolls Lorecast in the chat. They are one of the newest members of the Elder Scrolls Online podcast family. So there you go. They also have a Fallout lore. That's Lorecast as well.
Both are
Fallout
fantastic.
Lorecast, So go ahead and check them out. And all right,
and Sinister Souls for subbing while we're recording. Thank you so much.
Oh man, thank you all so very much. Chat room today has been amazing. And there you go. My brain just paused. I love when that happens. Don't you love it when that happens? It's just
all the ideas.
Awkward silence at a podcast. That's
excellent. Nothing helps a podcast flow like an uncomfortable right in the middle.
Shall we move on then to the Twitter poll results?
Yes. Okay. So
saved.
As most of you have probably seen, we've been running some polls just for fun on the Elder Scrolls Twitter, just to kind of chat with you guys a little more and get some votes on some just random
just
ideas
for fun.
I may have.
Yep.
And what do you call it? Let's see. We have I forgot to mention it last time, so I'm just going to do the last 2. I'm planning on trying to run one of these once a week, just for, varying things, see how people overall take, because so far I've already been surprised at some of the results of these things. It's one of those anecdotal things to the overall grand scheme of things. Always seems interesting when you have the full data on something. Very specifically, the one I always note is the crown crate thing, with a very, very loud group saying we don't want crown crates, and then they ran that poll, and it was overwhelming that people wanted them, and I'm like, that doesn't add up at all. And amazingly enough, once they got launched, they make $1 zillion on them. And I'm like, oh, nope, that was totally what people wanted. Touche. All right. So our poll last week was, which alliance does your main character claim allegiance to? And although I'm not a fan of how close it was, the Eminar Pact came in first place with 41%, which is correct, although it's lower than it should be. Acceptably in second place is the Daggerfall Covenant with 30% of the vote. And then in last place, I'm sorry that hurts you, Ark, is the Almira Dominion, 29%.
Just an irritated grumble.
But I was actually we had mentioned that we were surprised because there's so many AD in Cyrodiil and stuff. It's quite surprising that was not more in favor. At least I thought it would be. At least,
yeah.
But yeah, it Daggerfall always seems like they're the ones that are largely left behind, which is too bad. Because I like them quite a bit. But yeah, so that was an interesting little poll. And let's see, what is this week's? It's pretty bad that I can't remember the beginning of the week. Oh yes, a quick thing that we had discussed was they changed the requirements for getting dungeon skins with the 2 new dungeons. Yes. Where now, if you beat the dungeon on veteran mode, you're awarded the skin. Whereas previously, you needed to do various challenges, usually them being no death, speedrun, hard mode on veteran. Yep. And that was how you would skin. So with 74% of the vote, everybody likes it better that you can just get them by beating veteran. And only 26% of the vote liked it better the old way with the challenges.
I am one of the 26% in there.
I am as well, actually.
Yeah, I think I fall there too.
I like things to be difficultly achieved. I mean, what's the point of having that skin if everybody has that skin? I mean,
yes, and now granted that Meridian skin, awesome looking.
Yeah,
I'm not a cosmetics guy, but that is really that looks sick.
I am excited it's not locked.
It makes my naked Redguard dance even so much more better. Now I shine as well while doing that.
I am excited to get. Ironically, part of my Tales is that I unlocked the Spider Kit skin, and I absolutely hate it. Waste of my time, let me tell you. It is a hideous skin on my character. On all of them, actually. But I'm excited to be able to get another skin that I actually like and not have it be locked behind those. But I do enjoy the challenge of trying to run the dungeons and get no deaths and hard modes and all of that.
Yeah, so... And that's just it. I don't know.
If they had gave something else for all the achievement completions, then okay, but... Now, what is my incentive for putting myself through hell to get speedrun, hard mode, no death, veteran completion? Why would I do it now? What do I have to show for it once I basically turn into a masochist and suffer through endless hours of the DLC dungeon while Mike Finnegan laughs through the heavens or hell, wherever he may be, and haunts you in your dreams? Now, what do I have to show for this?
So, I don't know, like, I liked the idea, because originally, if people remember, you would get a title for beating it on.
Yep.
And then you would get the skin for doing all the sadistic challenges. But people like cosmetic stuff, so I understand, like, wanting to make it slightly more accessible. But I also kind of like, really, well, I guess I'm not a great gauge for this since I don't go to collect them. I like to just get the achievements, so surprise, I'm going to do these anyways because I don't care about getting the skins so much as getting 50 achievement points for each one of the challenges. But it was kind of almost like a badge of honor. It's the difference between getting skinned in. So I have the skin for Halls of Fabrication and the Maw of Lorcage.
Right.
Both of those require you to beat it on vet, not vet hard mode, which I have not completed either of those on vet hard. The new two dungeons you need to do the hard mode version of them to get skinned. I've beaten them both on vet, but no skin because of the hard mode. I like the idea that people have to work a little harder for those. Although, you know, again, it's very, very rare that people have those because those challenges are rough, like to say the least. But I don't know. I like giving people the challenge, but I do understand why people do want something attainable. So I don't know. Like,
yeah, that's why, I mean, make it tier-based rewards. Like, if you complete veteran, just veteran, okay, you get the skin. And if you complete veteran hard mode speed, no death speed run thingy, you get, I don't know, something else. Another skin, a mount, a pet. Give something that I can show that I am not a clever man, that I threw myself in a dungeon for 50 hours straight. I want to be able to show that. Also, I mean, Casual Ranger said unpopular opinion, but it's otherwise. It's the popular opinion.
Yes,
we are the unpopular opinion right now.
But he is correct. The large majority of people are,
that is true.
Like, casual to an extent. Like, they play the game for fun. Not that we don't play the game for fun, but you know what I mean. Like, they don't sadistically look for reasons to do things that make them scream. Like,
they don't want to be throwing their controllers at the TV. Like, that's not a feeling they're going for.
Yes. So, and I do understand that. So I definitely see both sides of it. The only thing I wish they would change, and look, if we're going to do that, you know, whatever, they've got, talking about polls, they get the analytics to this, so they they know what they're looking at better than our speculations. What I wish they would do, if they want to tone it back a little bit, okay, fine, maybe the no I'm not gonna lie, no deaths annoy me because it's not a no death on me, it's a no death on the team, and not to be totally selfish, but look, if I made it through the whole dungeon alive, how about I get the thing? Like, sometimes I have, like, my City of Ash 2 veteran story is the only death we had on one of our best runs was one of our people wanted to take the faster route, so he jumped out of a tree and he died on impact. And that's the reason we didn't get the no death, except he DC'd before the dungeon ended, reloaded in. It, for some reason, registered him as having a fresh run, and he got the achievement and none of the rest of us did.
Oh, wow.
So I am forever bitter, and I will never let that go. Psych, you know who you are.
I cannot be angry at him, because I am the dude that dies in stupid ways. I am... See... If you don't tell me, especially if you don't tell me specifically that we are doing a no-death run, I'm usually, when I'm gaming, I don't pay attention. Okay? I use my brain power at work, and when I'm in front of my computer, my brain level is at negatives.
Total zone out.
Yeah, I zone out, I don't care, I don't pay attention. So I do stupid things a lot. And I die, like... Most of the dungeons, I die a couple times in trash pools because I forget to block that one single heavy attack that doesn't do any damage if you block, but kills you instantly. Even though it's a trash pool.
It just smashes you in half.
Yeah, I just fall off a bridge, die. I zone out at a boss fight, get smacked, die. So, yeah, no deaths are difficult for me. I have to be at, like, on caffeine and... ready to actually motivated to be using an extra bit of brain juice to get through it, you know.
Well, and that's the thing is, if we've got to tone it back, and I was saying, I get that. How about make it so that the skin is at least hard mode? You at least did all the content. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, well, that's still some of those hard modes are
beasts.
Hard, like they live up to their name. Like, the Scale Caller Peak one goes from
I still haven't got that.
To what in the name of God is happening?
It says here's every mechanic from the dungeon.
Yeah, it's like all at the same time.
In the size of my living room.
Exactly. So it's like,
I'm like, awesome.
And then you don't need to worry about these change. Like, okay, you beat it as hard as it is. Fine, you didn't have a team that wanted to go through completely flawlessly or to do it in 15 minutes or whatever it is. Okay, then you at least did it as hard difficulty as possible. I'd be more okay with that. Like, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that a speed run or a no death is necessarily more difficult than hard mode. Because, like, it's more focus is all it requires, and more like you have to be more careful.
Yes, and the speed runs, unfortunately, are. I mean, if you don't try to do it's tricky when you're trying to do them all at once, like speedrun, no death, and hard mode at the same time. Because if you're not, I mean, you can just run through, get as many trash pulls as possible, intentionally die at the door so they all reset, and then just be like, all right, we're through the door. That was 9 areas cleared in 42 seconds. It's like,
I mean, they did fix that with, like, I think Fanglayer and Skill. And I think the new ones you have to do, it says all encounters now.
Yes.
So they just fixed that, but still, I mean, but even at that, it's not bad.
Exactly.
Oh, man. Who knows?
But yeah, so those were our Twitter polls. I'll post up a new one at the start of the week and come up with something else we can do.
Yeah. Now that you mentioned Twitter, I recommend go ahead and follow our Twitter, because I'm planning some giveaways in the upcoming weeks through our Twitter. That will be mostly where it will be, including a base game and Morrowind Digital Collector's Edition of Elder Scrolls Online. Hopefully some other things, maybe Crown Store stuff, not the Crown Pack, but gifts from Crown Store, because I have a lot of crowns banked up at the moment. That will be for PC though. But yeah, go ahead and follow our Twitter at Tales of Tamriel. Actually, it should be what it is.
Yep, nice and easy.
Yep, Tales of Tamriel. Yeah, and stay tuned for some giveaways there as well. So I'm actually going to skip the other two.
Oh, okay.
Do we want to
mention them in like 2 seconds?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, let's mention them, and we'll put them in the links below.
We've got a community guide, which I took a build from that I'm going to be making once Wrathstone releases. And Wrathstone released for PC and Mac on Tuesday, and we'll be here for 2 weeks for PS4 and Xbox.
Yay! Console chud race.
I'm not. At this point, I'm used to it. Like, I don't even, the delay doesn't even faze me. I'm like, it just takes, this is my release date.
Well, I always say that, thank you for beta testing for me, PC, but this one's not a beta test. Although this one seems
it is a beta test, because
you guys are just having more fun this time.
Frostwalt is broken. At least it was broken when we tried it.
Oh, fantastic! Good. Go back to beta testing then. I take it all back.
Do your thing.
The login thing is what I was waiting for. Is like, oh man, it's all going to explode, and then it's going to be better in console. Oh no, it just went off better than ever. Damn it! Now they're just having more fun than me.
Oh yeah, the loading time was. I'm glad I didn't touch my inventory. The loading time was perfect.
Kudos to the ZOS team on that one for like prepping everybody, and whatever they did they obviously made it work. So it's like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so I suppose it is time for our tales. I'm gonna start first because you two haven't played the Wrathstone, but I did because
just rub
PC.
It in some more. All right.
Yeah, I mean, I got to play.
The Salt Vault.
I was doing good. I was doing good until now.
Alright, so I actually played it just a couple days. I was tanking for Ophelia Noir, as I generally do now. That's pretty much when I play, is when I get called to tank for the Drunkenborns, which is
very
the guild
entertaining
of
to watch
Noir.
On stream. What I got to see. I only got to see some of it before it dropped for whatever reason, but it was the
Drunkenborns is a fun bunch. I love dungeoneering with them, if that's a word. Running dungeons, that's actual, we already had a word, I had to make up one. Anyway, so first, Frostwalt has been, since PTS, has been our favorite. With Ophelia and I, we love Frostwalt. It's so far our favorite dungeon in the game, and at least my favorite dungeon in the game. And we thought we would do that first, and we started. Now, First Vault has these trolls. Are they trolls? Yeah, they're trolls from the armored trolls from Hrothgar. The name Scale Color Peak. There we go. Those one-shot you. But these ones, they are in the trash pools. So you pull a group of trash, and if you don't block, the troll one-shots you. And as I mentioned earlier, I keep getting one shot because I am not paying attention. And it's like, for my time, Nika starts streaming at 10:30, and then like the usual getting ready, you know, things like that. By the time we get into the dungeon, it's near midnight. So by the time we are in the dungeon, I am already sleepy. I just want to go to bed. I'm already not working at a like full brain capacity, and then you add sleep to it, and like I see the animation the troll is doing, and I'm like, ooh, nice, cool. I'm dead. Yeah, cool.
This was about the point where I got to watch the stream, because I believe did you just die to trash? Was the intro thing that I saw. I was like, oh, this is good.
And another thing is, like, I'm watching the stream on the side, and every now and then I just go AFK in the middle of the chat to type something in streams chat. So it's like I do a bunch of dumb stuff, and I keep dying, and the Drunkenborns are very eager on mocking me as to my tanking, as you guys are to in mocking me with the Arkhaniir and Arkhaniir stuff. So every time I die at a trash pool like this, it just gives them one more ammunition, one more bullet.
One more bullet in the chamber to fire a point.
Yeah, it's like, it just adds up. And eventually I figure out, okay, I need to pay a little bit more attention. And we get through, the first boss is okay. It just jumps around, tramples and throws people in the air, and you have to bash, and if you can't bash, someone dies. We get through that. Now, the most fun boss fight for me in these two dungeons is the Dwemer fight, the Dwemer Centaurian, which has a lot of lasers in it. And these lasers, basically, they start from one end of the room, and it just goes along a wall, shooting laser towards the opposing wall. And while this happens, the boss curls up into like a dome, and it blocks the laser. So you have to stay behind the other side of the boss so you don't get one shot by the laser. Now, at first, this is easy because there's only one laser, but then it starts throwing multiple lasers at you from multiple directions. So you go to the left side of the boss, and just 1 second later you have to be on the other side of the boss. So it's a lot of screaming and yelling and running around, going the wrong way, just charging headfirst into the laser, while fighting a lot of ads that make nothing more easier. And it's like, it's chaotic, and it's so much fun. And it reminds me of like Resident Evil or some Mission Impossible museum entry scene, something like that. The problem is, this fight was bugged. Every now and then, the lasers just go through the boss, and you end up getting one shot. Oh. It just, yeah, I guess there's a problem with the collusion or something, I don't know. But it would just ignore the boss's dome and just kill you right through. And it feels like when you realize that's happening, because you see it, it's like you are behind the boss, and from one end you see the laser ignoring the boss, and you know there's nothing you can do at that point. And it just reminds me that in the Resident Evil movie, the first one, if I remember correctly, they go into this corridor, and they get locked up in there, and the Red Queen just starts throwing lasers at them. And at the final scene, the lasers, like, the dude is ready to dodge the laser, but the laser just splits into a full room size thing, and he's just like, oh, and he obviously dies. It just feels like that when that bugs out. You know you're going to die. You're like, oh, yep, this is a wipe. Let's start over. So eventually we gave up because it was like 1 a.m. at that point for me too. So we switched to Depths of Malatar. Now this is also a very fun dungeon. Both of these dungeons involve so much yelling and screaming and running around. I love it. It's chaotic. Both of them are very chaotic.
That's exciting.
Depths of Malatar, we go through most of the bosses. Now, there's one boss fight. There's an orb in the middle. There's this giant orb. And you have to kill it. That's the boss. You have to kill the orb. The problem is, it keeps summoning ads. And I just keep tanking the ads. And for some reason, they are not doing too much damage. Strangely. There's like 15 ads right around me, shooting arrows, lightning stuff, all kinds of different things, while the rest of the team are killing the orbs, because it also summons other orbs that, I guess, boost damage or whatever. And I'm taking damage from these 15 dudes, and I'm not really losing too much health, but I am at a point I can't move and I can't target anything, because there is always something in the way. Another ad spawns. I need to either range taunt it or chain it to me so I can keep them bundled up in a single place while the DPS takes care of the orbs. But I can't relocate because I can't move. Even after I dodge roll, I am still between ads because there's too many. And I can't aim anything because there's always an ad in the way. So that's a fun fight, and we complete that. And the next boss after that is a king that yells, "I am infinite," and splits into 4 multiple times, and you end up fighting this 12 of the same dude who is casting fire spells, blizzards, lightning spells, things like that. And
is that the dude? He kind of looks like an Eratronach, except he's like metallic.
No, this is before the final boss. This is an A-late king or something like that.
Oh, it's just like a literal. Okay.
Yeah, it's just a king.
Because I've been I'm not blind on them, but I have not looked up much of anything on them. So I wasn't sure if this was this guy. Okay, so this is literally just. Yeah. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, this is just he looks like King whatever from the main story, I guess.
Yeah.
Just another elf king, and he just keeps splitting, and your DPS, they focus on one guy, right? And once its shields are gone, he disappears. So it's a massive DPS race. And as I usually mention, we don't have a problem with too much DPS. And even then, it's absolutely chaotic. There's like so many. And you range taunt that, you get immobilized, taking so much damage, even with a healer. It's almost impossible to keep up with unless you destroy them so very, very fast. Which is why I think Depths of Malatar will be near impossible to do without a healer, because this fight also requires you to keep an NPC alive by healing him. So yeah, it's a solid healer mechanic. Like, that fight is for a healer. You have to have a healer, I think.
Interesting. Now, here's my question. What happens if he dies? Do you wipe?
He doesn't die. The dude just keeps multiplying even more, so as far as I understood. So you die.
Fight going to the point of, like...
doable.
He's got to keep... Okay, so it's he's required to be up in order to continue the progression of the fight, is what you mean? Okay, that's what we understood. Yeah. Okay.
So we were near giving up at one point, right? We were like, okay, this is not happening. It's too late now. And actually, wait, that day, no, wait, yeah, we were about to give up. And everyone was like, okay, that's it. We are giving up. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start the fight again. I didn't say anything. I didn't say I was going in, but I was focused. Remember how I said I need to be focused to actually achieve something and not do dumb stuff? I was like, I'm not giving up. And I just went in there and I pulled. And obviously because I pulled, everyone just, I guess, accepted their fate, and we just went into the fight. And I'm playing like crazy. I'm doing everything on time. I am full on adrenaline and focus at that point.
That's the spirit.
And we finished that fight perfectly. We nailed it, and we were like, okay, well, I guess this can work. And we went to the final boss. We couldn't do the final boss that day, but the other day, tomorrow of that day, we went back in there. We actually nailed the infinite fight again, and we went to final boss. Final boss of Depths of Malatar, even on hard mode, is actually not that difficult. It deals insane damage though. Oh my god, every attack he does, it's so much damage. So many times I had to heal myself through like 10% health, and people keep dying. It's insane. It's a very fun fight though. It's a very fun fight. So yeah, that was my my Tales of Frost, not Frostfall, but Ratstone DLC.
So I just have one question before we move past your tales. You are on your Nord tank, yes?
Yes.
How do you like the new feel of the Nordiness?
I mean, to be honest, I like it because without using Mighty Chudan, I can still get up to 34k resistances with spiked armor. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, I can use my Earth Core and be at maximum resistance. Yeah. So, yeah, I like it. I like it better.
Nice. Okay, cool.
So, Lotus, why don't you go on ahead and tell us what you...
Right.
Actually, no. I don't like that last line. Can't do that.
What do you mean? You know, like the last... Start with that one before you delete it out of the notes forever. So we're going to start with the Quicko Tales of Arkhaniir before Ark tries to delete him from history, which is a shame. So, as most people know, I just kind of run my main character up until the running joke of Arkhaniir came in. And now every now and then I've been doing stuff with him. I haven't had as much game time, so I didn't get to progress the Soul Burst. He's becoming Alt Morelos in the notes. For those who can't see our show notes. I haven't been able to do more of the Soul Burst quest line, which kind of bums me out because I'm really enjoying that, as I had mentioned before. But I have... Normally, we always joke that do your writs thing. Well, I always do my writs on my main character just because it takes like 5 minutes. If I can't make 5 minutes a day, it's super rare. I can usually log in just before work while I'm like sipping on like caffeine or something like that. And even if I have zero time, I'll at least grab the writs and then do both of them the following day. Well, now I'm actually doing it on 2 characters. I'm doing it on Arkhaniir and on my main character. So
well, I'm glad at least Arkhaniir is making you some money.
He is. His bank account is sitting at like 100 right now.
I demand royalty.
Wow.
That's
30%.
Actually. So it's kind of interesting because you need to be level 6 in jewelry in order to become a jewelry crafter for writs, which I did not kind of realize, I guess.
Yeah, I never realized that either.
It doesn't pop as quick as the other ones I noticed. So I was like, I can only do 5 of these. And I looked it up, and apparently you need to hit a threshold. And I was like, yeah, okay, so it is the same for all. The others just level up quicker, maybe, because jewelry is a little harder.
Well, probably you never realized because the others just you deconstruct a couple stuff and it's level 6.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
So it took a little while, but now he can do that as well. But the this kind of combos into the next thing. So I decided to start trying to just level him to use a little more functional stuff. Like I have just millions of the max level crafting things, but like less so in the mid tier. So having him be anything except the absolute bottom of the barrel or the absolute pinnacle is kind of actually a pain because I just have less of those materials. So I was like, well, maybe I'll just power level him for a while. But I was like, that's boring. I don't really want to do that. But I came to the conclusion of, well, they had mentioned originally about clearing out some of your crap to help with load times. And I was like, well, maybe I should just make crap and sell it just to a vendor. And I was like, wait a minute, I can do it on Arkhaniir.
Oh my.
But again, I was like, well, what am I? I'll put on a movie or something. And I realized that I hadn't really sat back down and gotten back into the 2 novels, which I was enjoying. I was, maybe a third of the way through the first one. And I was like, I wonder if these are on Audible. This is not an Audible advertisement, but they're on Audible. Get them on Audible. They're awesome. They're very well narrated. And you can listen to it while playing ESO and doing surveys or whatever, because I got Arkhaniir from level 3 to level 50 in provisioning while listening to one of the chapters or whatever. It was 2 or 3 of the chapters. So I'm actually listening to the audiobook. I just started from the beginning as kind of a refresher, and I have been grinding him up the crafting ladder while listening to the audiobooks from Audible. It is what? Like the height of Elder Scrolls multitasking.
What were you listening to? I missed that.
So the first book is called The Infernal City, which is the first of the 2 Elder Scrolls.
Oh, you were listening to Elder Scrolls books.
Yes.
It's just the 2.
It's just the 2. The reviews seem kind of mixed. I started it. I was liking it. I know a bunch of people. Oh, Swampy. Actually, he just mentioned it. Oh, Swampy. Oh, he was reading them. Casual was reading them. I was liking it, and it's just I just did not have time to sit and read. And then I don't know what gave me this epiphany that I was like, I wonder if there's an audio version. It's done very well. He does kind of voices so you can tell who's who, which is kind of helpful. And I literally just zone out listening to the audiobooks. And I hit square. That is literally the only thing I need to do. So I'm not even looking at green. You want to talk about zoning out? Book and hitting square. I have no idea how long I was a level 50 craft. None. It was like, you have 8,000 fishy sticks or whatever. I'm like, great, cool. And then I sold all that crap and got $8,000. So it's double
nice.
win.
Yeah.
But yeah, for anybody interested in the Elder Scrolls novel books, I can't really go into them too much without spoiling them. I'm also not completely finished with it yet. I recommend them. I like them quite a bit. And the audio version is very well narrated. I like it quite a bit. So kind of a double recommendation on that. Let's see. The only other thing of note, I would say, I mean, I've been playing just because I haven't had time to sit and play as much other than literally what I said I was doing. But again, me winning a game, losing a game, winning a game, losing a game, the most thrilling thing to listen to. So I was playing Legends, moving on, because I'm not good.
I actually installed Legends on my work tablet, so
nice.
We should challenge one time.
Yes, we should have a duel. Actually, we should stream a duel between the 2 of us.
That could work.
Yeah, if you need, I'll duel some of you too.
Hell yeah! Now we're talking. I like this.
Tales of Tamriel Elder Scrolls Legends Tournament.
Yep. Where Nate comes in and cleans the floor with all of us. He just 1v4.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can organize this. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, that'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, the only other thing I did, which I was super close to last time, when I came to the realization that that collector's edition that I won from Tea and Crumpet's stream of the Somerset book, where it shows you all the Sigic time rifts, makes it really easy to go through that quest line.
I was going to tell you that, but I thought you were doing it for the experience, and I was like, he probably hasn't thought about just Googling where they're all at.
I started to Google them because I was like, and then I realized I was like, I don't need to Google. super detailed map right in front of me. I'm an idiot. So I did the last 2 areas. That quest did end how I thought it would end. I won't actually give it away. It is awesome. Do the Sijic Order quest line if you have Somerset. Super cool. And
It's
the
so
Augur of the
grindy.
Obscure, that is like the greatest character ever.
He's so funny.
He is, and you get his happy little skull for your house.
Yes. Yep.
Yep.
He's in my little mage's quarters in the upstairs of my house. I always click it.
So absolutely loved that. The quest design didn't really do it for me. I didn't, like I had said, didn't mind it once or twice. It just got too long. But the story to it itself, I thought was really cool. So.
I agree.
And that would be that's pretty much all I've managed to accomplish over the past week.
Oh, well, that was still a lot more than I did, actually. I mean, in terms of overall stuff, I did Ratstone because I'm on PC.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Right. So this is where we drop the call, Lotus.
And now, we can't even make him...
Nope.
No.
Squandered.
Oh, God.
Why do you think I didn't do cameras this week? So that you couldn't mess it up.
Oh no, he's thinking too far in advance because of our...
Oh, no.
Well, Promethean, what about you? What have you done this week?
So this is a combination of the past 2 weeks since I wasn't able to make it last week. I actually don't know when this was. I ran that Cradle of Shadows and finally got my no death run on it. And equipped the skin. I switched over to my healer. The running joke is that I don't like to wear shirts on my characters because my healer is always shirtless. I like pick one of the ones that has like the least amount of clothing.
Right.
It's just been a thing now. Yeah, it's now the joke of my healer. And I equipped the Spider Kith skin and realized how awful it is and how much I never wish I spent all of the time in that dungeon. I was like, this is like... It was cool. I enjoyed the challenge of it, and Cradle of Shadows to get those achievements is really not that bad. It's in my opinion, one of the easier ones compared to some of the other ones, so it's not bad at all. But I equipped it and was like, this was a waste of my time. It is hideous, and I cannot wear it at all. I was like, this is cool. So that's kind of disappointing. I'm now working on trying to get other ones to see what else I can do. And then the other night, I went into Craglorn, as I do when events aren't running, along with my Murkmire dailies. That's kind of what I fall into if there's no event going on, to kill the time. I actually ran some dungeons. A pug dungeon, I pulled into City of Ash 2 because I need a Slayer achievement for the Flame Colossi, which there's like 3 of per dungeon run. And
I think there's literally 3.
And the bad part is when you pug it, everybody skips them. So you actually only get 1. So it's a good time. But we ended up running a bunch of dungeons. And I can't remember the guys. They were really cool. Super great guys on PS4. And we ended up doing a couple Moon Hunter runs to help farm some gear out for the one guy. And it was just... So that was a fun afternoon when I didn't have class. And then, for those of you who follow the Tales of Tamriel Twitter, I got the Skyrim boxed vinyl edition.
That is so good.
Yeah, that looks so awesome.
It is amazing. Unfortunately, I don't have my own record player, so tomorrow my friend is coming over with his, and I'm going to use it to play it and listen to it. Because, like, the soundtracks for the single-player games are some of my favorite. And I am like beyond excited to open this and like put it on there and just listen to it. Oh, I am very excited. But it is the most beautiful artwork on the... I don't know if you like the album or the... I guess I don't know what you really call it. The thing that holds my vinyls, the thing that holds my discs, it's got some amazing artwork on it.
Yeah, the sleeve, I guess? I don't know what it's...
Yeah, I don't know.
Technical term would be.
And then... So there's 4 discs with it, and the final one, it only has music on the one side, so the other side has the Imperial Dragon on it, which is really cool. So there's some pictures up. They're not the best because my phone camera quality is not the best, but it's amazing. I'm super happy with it. I'm still waiting on my lithograph though, The Elsewhere one, I received literally no information about it, and it was supposed to be ready to ship in February. And I don't know. I put out like a feeler to see if anybody else ordered it, and nobody really answered me. So if anybody has ordered it and has heard anything, please let me know, because I've got a spot for it on my wall ready to go. So, but those are my Tales for the most part. I haven't been in game a whole lot. It's midterms right now, so.
Oh, well, good. Yeah, that
yeah, pretty much.
That explains it.
Yep.
All right. Well, in that case, Lotus, you have one more section to cover before we wrap up the show.
Yes. So he's actually in chat right now. But for anyone who doesn't know, Benevolent Bodhi, I believe that's how you pronounce it. I've actually
never said Bode.
Yeah, I know. That was how I originally said it. But then I realized with the way that it was positioned, I was like, I feel like that's intentionally like that. So
after looking at it on the notes, I've reconsidered.
That
was when I. That's kind of the thing. At first, I was like, Bodhi.
There
okay,
we go,
fantastic. So my reinterpretating of it was correct. Fantastic. So I was wrong at first. I love that site. Well, ironically enough, Benevolent, so do we, and that's why you get to be our shout out after I was talking to you. So, for anybody who doesn't know, Benevolent runs a site at benevolentbod.ca, and he has all sorts of guides and references. I really can't recommend it enough for the big things that I like the most for it. And actually, it was funny when we were chatting. So he mentioned some of the parts that he's like, oh well, these usually didn't be the most popular. Well, those are also the parts I used the most, ironically. Is if you want to know what's in the golden vendor each week that comes to Cyrodiil, he will always post. He does use it on Twitter as well. He's the same on Twitter. So he does post updates there, but he will show you what the inventory is of the golden vendor, which is super useful because it can save you a trip from having to trudge in there, go through all its crap, see what it is. But you can, mainly it used to be for monster helms. They're not as hard as they used to be, but some of the furnishing stuff is really cool, and you can just check out to see whether it's worth your time to go in. The other thing, which I think is the most useful and may or may not be largely my reference guide for when I try to keep track of stuff, is his ESO calendar. It's pretty much just a working calendar of anything happening in ESO. So if you ever have questions, again, benevolentbod.ca, just go there, and you're curious when an event starts, when an event ends, all that stuff. Check that calendar out. It is super, super useful. But other than those two major points on it, there is a lot of information on there. He's got, I actually believe I used your fishing guide originally, your maps. I believe that's actually where I got my original mapping from. Lots of just useful information and a reference chart for most things. So for any of your needs like that, writs, stuff like that, crafting stations.
The master writs for alchemy, which are just an absolute pain because I don't want to scroll through and match them. They are all there, and it is consistently pulled up on my laptop because it is so simple.
Yep, you can finish those so quickly without needing to read through chemical properties. It's super fantastic and can save you a ton of time.
Yeah.
So if you haven't already, please feel free to check out Benevolent Bodhi on Twitter. It's the exact same name, and his actual website at benevolentbod.ca.
There you go. And also, by the way, congratulations to Von Jamestown, because apparently today is his 14-year marriage anniversary, and he is with us in chat. So thanks so much.
Awesome,
and that also explains why he's drunk.
Congrats, 14. Good lord.
Congratulations.
You've been married twice as long as I've known my wife.
That's almost my whole life.
That is awesome.
So yeah, well, I suppose our compact, short podcast ended up, again, hour and a half.
Yeah, we're not good at not being rambly.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's yeah, and I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing.
Yeah, I'm not either.
I think people like it. I don't know. I mean, I suppose.
So. Yeah, it devolved into more news at the start than I expected.
Yes,
Plus our incoherent ramblings when we get off track.
Yep.
Yeah.
Derails
Fire
of
alarm and all.
Tamriel.
Yeah. That's definitely going to become a thing. Even the Rails of Tamriel. All right, well, I'm slowly going to do the outro this time. Not gonna rush through it. You can follow everything we do over at dungeoncrawlernetwork.com. There you can find links to all of our social media, including Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. Be sure to check out our Patreon at patreon.com/dungeoncrawlernetwork if you want to help support the show, as well as consider leaving us a 5-star review on iTunes so people know that we are a real podcast, that we say real words, and sometimes it matters. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Tales of Tamriel, and we will see you next time. Have a good night.
Bye, everybody.
Good night, folks.
When Akatosh slew Lorcan, he ripped his heart right out. He hurled it across Tamriel, and the heart was heard to shout, red diamond, the heart and soul of men. Red diamond, protect us till the end. The laughing heart sprayed blood afar, a gout on Seer it fell, and like a dart shot to its mark down in an alien well. Magicka fused the Lorcan blood to crystal red and strong. Then wild elves cut and polished it down to Chimel at a ball. Red diamond, the heart and soul of men. Red diamond, protect us till the end. When elves lost Nirn to men, Akatosh gave the stone to Saint Alesh in token of her right to sit the throne. Red diamond, the heart and soul of men. Red diamond, protect us till the end. Red diamond, protect us till the end.